So be advised that this class is going to be recorded. So what is going to happen, I will have time whereby I'm going to ask questions. Then when you want to ask a question, I'm going to take out the mic so that I can be able to hear you guys. So let's start. So today's lesson, we are going to talk about mathematics of financing. We're going to be talking about mathematics of financing. So in mathematics of finance, I'll just write FIN. There are many things that you need to learn. Yeah, I think this one will do. So we were talking in the video that I sent you guys, we talked about the simple interest, whereby I said I'm going to define it as ISI. So when you talk about simple interest, so simple interest. So when we talk about simple interest, there are few formulas that you need to understand in simple interest. So the first one is going to be I. The I is going to be equals to P RT, whereby this I is for interest, the interest that you earned. So the interest it will be based on the money. The interest is going to be based on the money. So it can be, for example, you can invest 200 Rand. So in the investment of 200, maybe after 3 years or after 1 year, when you go to take it, you find that it's 300. You invested 200 Rand, then you find that now you have 300. So the money that you have gained in this investment, if we say 300, you subtract by 200, you have gained 100 Rand. So which means your I here in this equation is going to be equal to 100 Rand, the interest that you have gained. So this P here, it means principal amount. It's called principal amount. So this principal amount, so the principal amount, so when we talk about principal amount is the amount whereby you can be working on, it can be an investment. It can be an investment. It can be the first one. The question can say you have invested. When say you have invested 200, the word invested, when you see it, that invested, that amount that you say you have invested, maybe for example 200, is going to be under P. Sometimes they can say you borrowed. The word borrowed, normally they fall under the letter P, which is principal amount. And the R that you see there, I will write it down here. So R in that equation is our interest rate. Interest rate. So the interest rate is in terms of percentage. So normally you're going to find maybe they will say 11%, or they can say even 14%, depends on the question. And the T is the term. When we talk about the term, we are speaking about the when we speak about the term, we are talking about, it can be number of years, it can be in terms of months. So that's the T. So that's how, if you want to calculate, for example, a question says you invested, let's say, for example, a question says Sipho invested 3,000 Rand in in a saving account, in a saving account, for, let's say, simple interest, for simple interest per annum, they will write PA there, per annum. Then it says for, let's say, for 3 years at, for 3 years at what? Let's say at maybe, I don't know, let's use 10% is fine. At 10%. Then the question asks you, how much will he have in 3 years? In 3 years, this is the question. Not if the question says how much, it's actually this one we must say how much interest. Here, let me say I'm just gonna do like that. We're supposed to say interest here. How much interest will he have in 3 years? In 3 years, yes. So this is just a kind of question. So this question, when you read it, you will see that when you read, you're gonna say SIPO invested. The moment when you see SIPO invested, when you see SIPO invested, that one, you're going to make it is okay. This is your P. So your P is going to be 3,000. And then in a saving account for simple interest per annum for 3 years, this is going to be your T. You can write T there. Your T is going to be 3. Then at 10%, that's your R. Your R is 10%. For how much interest will he have in 3 years? So to calculate the interest, we're going to use the same formula that we are using. So when we use this formula, you're going to say, okay, your I is going to be equals to PRT. Then you substitute these values. PRT is just going to be 3,000 multiplied by R, which is 10%. You must convert it to become 0,1. Then you're going to multiply it by 0,1. You multiply it again by 3, which is 3 years. Then now when you have this, you can calculate, you can use a calculator to calculate this. Then if you want to calculate this, you can just use your calculator. So when you use your calculator, it's gonna be 3,000. You multiply it by 0,1. You multiply it by 3. Then you see that the interest that you gained in this investment is how much? Is 900. This is an interest that you gained in this investment when you invested 3,000. So you use for interest for using I equals to PRT. So now we're going to go when you want to calculate the accumulative amount. So the accumulative amount is the money that is total amount that you invested plus what? Is the total amount that you invested plus the interest that you gain. So total amount actually is equal to, let me write it in black pen. I normally use the letter A, saying a total amount or accumulative amount is equals to principal amount plus I. So which means in other words, I'm saying this is the same as I'm saying equals to P plus PRT, whereby if we take out P, you will see that now we're going to be left with A, which is equals to P in brackets 1 plus RT. So this equation is the equation whereby you use it to calculate what? To calculate the accumulative amount. So this A here is stand for accumulative amount, or you can call it sum 2. You can also call it sum 2. All terms remain the same. So in that question that we just did there in the symbol, if I want to calculate the cumulative amount, I can just use my A to be equals to 3,000 in brackets 1 plus your R, our R was 0,10, which is 0,1, sorry, 0,1, you multiply it by 3. So normally the other trick that I'm going to share you guys, I'm gonna use the same question. So you can use your calculator now to calculate this. You can use a calculator. So when you use a calculator, let's say you have 3,000 there, you can just say 3,000 in brackets. If you are using scientific calculator, brackets 1 plus 0,1 multiply by 3, close brackets. Then you will see that your answer that we get is 3,900. This is the answer that we get. And if you add 3,000 plus 900 that we get, you will see that you're going to get 3,900. So that's how you calculate for accumulative amount. So one more thing that I want to make it clear to you guys. Let's assume we are doing the same question, but the same question says for 8 months. Né? Let's assume the T there in that question, it states that is for 8 months. Né? Instead of 3 years, it says 8 months. It says 8 months. So months, all right. So when you calculate your interest in 8 months, the first thing that you need to do, you need to convert this month by 12. So which means it's going to be 8 divided by 12. You divide it by 12 so that it can go to yearly. So which means if I want to calculate my interest rate, I'm going to say what AI equals to P, which is 3,000 multiplied by R, which is 0,10, 0,1, multiplied by 8, you divide it by 12. You must remember that. So now you can use your calculator. You can use your calculator to calculate your interest, which is going to be 3,000 multiplied by 0,1 multiplied by, maybe we can use brackets again. Brackets is going to be 8 because I'm using this calculator, which is not good, but your scientific calculator Casio. Then you're going to get that the amount that we get there is showing us that is going to be 0,66 according to this. When you do it, that's what, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, it gave me 200. I'm not sure if this is the right amount. You can also verify it. Let's do it somehow. Let's say 8 divided by 12 multiply by 0,1. Then we multiply it by 3,000. We get 200. Indeed, it's 200. We get 200 there. So because we got 200, so now you can see if you want to calculate your accumulative amount. Sometimes after calculating, there is no need. You can just say accumulative amount is 3,000 plus what? Plus 200. Then you go to your accumulative amount, or you can use that formula there. Then you're gonna get 3,200. So I'm gonna allow you guys if you have any question you want to ask. Oh, okay, I couldn't see. Okay, I couldn't see that there was someone in the class as I was showing you guys. So I'm gonna ask you guys if you have any question. Do you have any question? About what we're doing? If you have a question, you can, okay, someone have a question. You can ask is Tanashi, yeah? Yeah, I'm waiting for you. I see a hand. Tanashi is raising, and you can talk to us. You can unmute your mic.
No, I'm not raising my hand, sir. I raised the hand when you said we must raise the hand if I can hear you.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yes, I must remove.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And then anyone who have a question? Okay, you guys, it's like you don't have a question. So I'm gonna try to get some question paper or some other questions based on this. We do it together. about the simple interest. This one was just the basics that I was showing you. So we're going to proceed to compound interest. Remember, this is the basics that I'm teaching you. So when I go to take you guys to the questions are more tricky part. They are very tricky. And your assignment 2, trust me, is not that much easy. So it's very tricky questions. There are many tricky questions. So let's proceed with a accumulative amount. So not accumulative, compound interest, sorry, compound. So now we're going to talk about the compound interest, compound. This is N, guys, interest. So compound interest, we're going to use the word abbreviate with C.I. C.I, it means compound interest. So compound interest, the formula for compound interest is A equal to P in brackets 1 plus R to the power T. So this is your formula for compound interest. So A is still the same as accumulative amount, P principal amount, and then R is interest rate and T is number of terms. So when you work with a compound interest, there are some things that I want to, let me open one of the documents. Let me open one of the documents. I just want to use one of the questions that I have here with me. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. This one I already show you how you do it. And then I just want, okay, this one is not the same. I just want a simple question. I think I've seen a simple question here. No, it's not. I thought. No, this one is more like, but it's not exactly what I need. All right. No, still not the same. Okay, I don't see that question here so far, but I saw it somewhere. It's fine. Let's proceed. So I'm just gonna create my own question. Let's say the question says, Peter invested let's say 3,000. I'm gonna use also 3,000 per annum, PA, compounded. Okay, 3,000, let's say compounded, not per annum. Here I'm gonna be not gonna make sense. Compounded monthly, or not monthly, compounded annually. Let's start with annually. With an interest. This is an interest rate. With an interest rate of, let's say, 10% is still fine. And still use 10% for, let's say, for 3 years is fine. 3 years. Then says how much will Peter, how much will he, not, let's use he now, not Peter, not the name. How much will he have in 3 years? How much will he have in 3 years? So this is a question that you will get. So in this question, when we are dealing with it, when we are working it out, Peter invested, the first thing that I wish, let me check if I have a highlighter. Yes, I do have a highlighter. So it says Peter invested. Oh, okay. I forgot to, okay, just give me, that's fine. Let me just continue with the laptop. I should have created as very huge. I have a big screen. It says Peter invested. The moment when you see in this word invested, the one I just highlighted here, you will know that this is going to be P. So which means we're going to write your P as what is equals to 3,000. Compounded annually. When you see this compounded annual is also important. Compounded annually. Annually, it means 1. We are still going to talk more about that with an interest rate of what? Of 10%. So the interest rate, which is R, is going to be equals to 0.1. And then for 3 years is going to be our T, which is equals to 3. How much will he have in 3 years? We need A. So this question is going to be very simple when we start, but we'll see the tricky part that you guys, you need to take into account after what? After when you see how we do it. And if guys, you have questions, ask me. If you can't ask a question, feel free to ask me in the inbox. I will try by all means to answer you, but don't expect when you send me a message to respond quickly. So when we use this formula for A equals to P, in brackets 1 plus I, 1 plus RT to the power 1 plus R to the power T, then our A there, we're going to substitute 3,000 in brackets 1 plus R, it was 0.1. Because it says annually, we just write it as it is, 0.1 to the power 3. So this one here, you will see that if you work it out, the answer will be 3,000 in brackets 1.1 to the power 3. So if you work it out, you can use your calculator. Let me try to use this scientific calculator. Let me hope it's going to work. But okay, it's 3,000 in brackets 1.1 close brackets. We say to the power. Where is power here? Square. I know it's this one to the power. No, this one is squared. So that's why I did. I should have pressed that one there. Let me repeat. To the power, we said 3. So your answer is 3,000. Our answer is 3,900 and something. Let me check. 993. 993. So you see how we calculated this amount. So a question there, we're going to be using one question, changing this one statement. The question can say compounded. It can say compounded. It can say compounded monthly. That compounded monthly. The first one, it was what? The first one we have, I will say compounded. It was compounded. It was compounded annually. Ne? So compounded annually is the same as you are using 1, but compounded monthly, you will be using 12. So what's the difference when we're using 12? It means that in our R, which is equals to 0.1, you're going to divide it by 12. So when you divide R by 12, you can check the value for 0.1. It's 0.00 something. So normally when I work it out, I just leave it as 0.1 divided by 12. Ne? So your T, let's leave it like that. Your T, which is equals to 3, you multiply it by 12. That's the difference when a question says compounded monthly. So when you multiply it by 12, 12 times 3 is going to be 24 plus 12, which means it's going to be 36. So when you use our formula is going to say 3,000 in brackets 1 plus 0.1 over 12 divide to the power 36. This is when a question says compounded monthly. So you can use your calculator if you have a calculator. Your calculator is going to work it out perfectly, but I will be forced to, there are online calculators. So let me see if I can have an online calculator. Okay, so that we can online calculator so that you can see properly what we are doing. No, I don't want this one. I want, there is this new one, step by step. No, there is this one I normally use here. I can't see it. Let me see how this one, but it's not gonna be fine. No, I didn't want it. This one is easy. Let's say I prefer scientific. I'm not sure if it's this one, but let's just open it. But it's still easy. It won't really give me what I want. So what is that calculator? Okay, I can, oh yes, yeah, there it is. Sorry guys, I saw it now. It's this one. I prefer this one. It's online. I'm using online because I don't have a calculator, but if you're going to be doing maths, you're gonna be continuing with maths, you must get your calculator. It's very good to have your own calculator. I'm also gonna buy one. So in that question there, we have 3,000 with brackets. If you are using a Casio calculator, brackets, we have 1 plus, you put your, in your scientific, this A over B, which was 0.1, you divide it by 12, you say to the power is this one in my side, to the power 36. So it's going to give us the answer there. So the answer for that question we got, that is 4,044.54. So if you check there, let's go back to our board. So it's 4,444 point. Okay, I'm not writing it properly. Let's find, I will erase. It's 4,044.54. So we have calculated that when it's compounded monthly. So what if the question says compounded quarterly? Compounded quarterly. So when a question says compounded quarterly, so it means that you have to use 4 now. So when we say 4, in our T, our R, which is equals to 0.1, we're going to divide it by 4. And then our T, we're going to multiply by 4, which means it's going to be 3 multiplied by 4, which is equals to 12. So when you use this, it's going to be A equals to, you just say 3,000. You're going to find out the answers. I'm just going to rewrite it. 1 plus 0.1 over 4 to the power 12. So this is how it's going to be when it's compounded quarterly. So a question again can say compounded. It can say compounded semi-annually, semi-yearly, not annually, semi-yearly. So when you say semi-yearly, it's like they can use semi-yearly, or they can say it's the synonyms. I'm telling you about the synonyms. They can say compounded semi-yearly. They can also say compounded biannually. Biannually, these are synonyms. Annually. The question can say compounded semesterly, maybe semester, but semester is half of a year. I'm just giving you that word, if they can use it. Or compounded half yearly. But normally, the one they use is this one, and biannually and half yearly. half yearly. So when they use these words that I've mentioned, it means that we are going to divide by 2. It's half of the year. That's why it says half yearly. It's half of the year. Half of the year is a semester. It's composed of 6 months. So now when you have this question, we divide our R, which is equals to 0.1. You will divide it by 2, and your T, which is equals to 3, you multiply by 2, then you're going to get 6. Then A is going to be equal to, in brackets, is 3,000. 3,000 is 3,000 in brackets, 1 plus 0.1 over 2 to the power 6. So this is how you do it. So sometimes they can say, for example, compounded weekly. If they say compounded weekly, so compounded weekly, you must calculate how many days, how many weeks are there in a year. So normally I know the answer because I'm working with maths every day. It's approximately 52. But how can you get it? A year is composed of 365 days. So in 365 days, you divide it by 7 days. Then you're going to get the equivalence of those weeks. Then, not equivalence. In mathematics, you don't just say any words, ne? Because normally, when we use these words, they mean a lot in maths. So we don't just say any words. So if we divide 365, you divide by 7 days. We have 52, exactly 52. So which means you are going to divide your R by 52. You multiply your T by 52. You're going to say your R equals to 0.1 over 52. And then your T, you multiply it by 3 times 52. Then you use it exactly the way we do it there. So if they say we compounded daily, which means you are going to divide by 365 and you multiply your T by 365. So I'm going to ask questions again. It's time for questions. You have to ask me a questions, guys. Because if you don't ask me a questions, I'm going to expect you guys to say you did manage to do that assignment, even though you won't really get 100%. Okay, someone have a question. I'm going to speak. Ladies, Maluleke.
Okay, my question is, so if the percentage is 20, do I have to change the rate to 0.2 or it is always 0.1?
You must change it. You must change it to 0.2. Remember, I'm using 0.1 because of the interest rate that we are using there. It was 10%.
Okay.
So if the question says, remember, this one I'm showing you, I was using principal amount, invested amount was 3,000. So the question can say you invested 10,000 or 100,000. Then the interest rate is 15%, or they say 36%, which means if they say 36%, you're going to change it to 0.35. Sometimes they can say 7%. If they say 7%, it's going to be 0.07. So do you understand now? Do you understand the question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So guys, I'm gonna still do questions with you. Today, I'm just giving a background of how you do these things. So, and in the proceeding class, if you have a question based on what we did here, or based on finance, take that question, come with it. I prefer also to tackle new questions that I don't know or I don't have. So come with any question and we do it. I do it with you guys here in the class. You just tell me that you have a question, you read it for us, then we show you how you do it. So the other thing that I'm going to show you guys now is called a timeline. timeline. So timeline, we are speaking about the same thing. It can be a compound interest, but there will be a line drawn there. So this line will tell you that in the beginning, you invested 1,000. I'm just giving an example. Then after that, 1, 2, 3, maybe it's representing a month. Ne? Let's say this is 1, 0 here. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will end where it allows me to stop. Yeah, it's allowing me to stop at 11. So after that, they say after is in terms, or let's assume it's in terms of a month here. It's fine. Then they say after 4 months, you added 2,000 rand. Then from here after, when we from 0 until 4, the interest rate was, let's say, 10%. Then after when you added 2,000, the bank decided to change the interest rate to be 20%. Let's use 20% now. Then also after 8 months, you decided to put another 1,500. But the bank decided that they will just use 20% for now. They are no longer changing. So this is a timeline that we have. So when you want to calculate how much you're going to have in 11 months, when you want to take your money in 11 months, then our A is going to be equals to, we are going to still use P in brackets 1 plus RT, R to the power T. But now when we calculate here, it's going to be equals to, we have this 1,000 that we put, it was exactly here for 11 months. Ne? So this A here, you will see that you have 1,000 rand, you bracket it 1 plus, the interest rate was, because it's compounded monthly, you're going to say 0.1 now, we change it by 100, we multiply by 100. So let me show you something that many people don't take into account. You see this percent like this, written like this, it's showing you that when you say 10%, this thing is 1 there, then you put 100, you must divide it by 100. This is 2 zeros and 1. So that's why we divide by 100. That's why it's called 10%. So after that, we're gonna divide this by 12 because here we're working with months. Ne? Gonna divide it by 12 to the power. This is already in months. So we're gonna say from here, because of the money from 0 until 4, it was 10%, ne? Until 4 months. But after 4 months from here, it changes to 20. So you bracket for 1,000 because this 1,000 is, it has been here until the end. There was no withdrawal for here. But sometimes they will tell you that you withdrew some, how much. So, but now I'm just showing you when there is no withdrawal. Then you're going to say 1. You just say 1 plus. Now, because it changed to 20%, it's 0.2 over 12. Then this 20% started here at 4. So if you want to calculate, you're going to see after started at 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means you're going to say 7. And if you say 7 plus 4, you will see that is 11. So you say plus now. This question it haven't ended, but due to a space that I have here, I'm going to do like that. Then you have 2,000 plus, we added 2,000. This 2,000, it was therefore saved from 4 up to the end, which means we're going to, it's 7. We're going to say plus 0.2 over 12 to the power 7 is fine. Then closely around 8. When it's 8, you invested, you added again 1,500. It's 1, 2, 3. It was 3 months left when you added 1,500. Then we're going to say plus 1,500 in brackets 1 plus 0.2 over 12 to the power what? 0.2 over 12 to the power 3. Then you have to use a calculator to do this arithmetic, everything. So let me see if I will remember what I just wrote now. So if I have to use that calculator, you see, I'm going to start, it's going to be a long journey. So it's going to start with 1,000 in brackets 1. Then I will have to put 0.1, then 12 to the power, what? To the power, it was, I think, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 then again, brackets, 1 plus 0, it changed to 0.2, 12 to the power 7, to the power 7, then plus again, now we added 2000, it was there for the whole, until for 7 times, it's gonna be 1 plus what? 1 plus 0.2, okay, 0.2 to the power, or I wrote 0.2, and then it's 12 to the power 7, and then again we added when it was 3 there, plus again 1,500 that we added when we're left with 3 months, 1 plus 0.2 over 12 to the power 3. So now it will give us the answer. So the answer for this amount that we see there, let me say equal to. So from there, if we check here, the way we have done our, okay, the problem it was here, there was no plus there. I was surprised that it can't give us that amount like that. So if you see this amount that we did here, for 1 month, it's like 1,000 plus 2,000 is 3,000. And then 3,000 plus is 1,000. 3,000 plus 3,000 plus plus what? Plus 1,500 is going to be 4,500. So the interest is not that much, as you can see, which means it's you added small, but I understand it's just within 8 months. So you must understand that. So the interest is going to be 300, but it's 4,983. So this is the money that you have gained. So that's how you do a timeline. This is how nicely, this is how hard it becomes. We are starting to take it harder a little bit. We haven't started to make it hard, but you can ask questions. If you have any question. Anyone have a question? So guys, if you don't have any question, I was recording this video. You will watch a video again. I can't teach you the whole financing by one day. We're going to proceed with financing. This week is going to be the week of financial mathematics until we finish this chapter, because I still have to go also to functions. Then after that, you will understand how it works. So guys, thank you for being here. I know some of you guys are going to work, and have a good night. Bye. I will catch you up in the next class.